already know what it is. It's another episode of About the Night. We in the motherfucking house tonight. Yeah, that I dig. You rocking with the crew, Tony, Rob, Winton. Let's go ahead and dive straight into what happened this weekend. Because you know something always goes down. Every single weekend.
Not all the time.
Man, it seems like it.
Sometimes it don't.
It do. When it don't, it's one of those good weekends, so I'll definitely tell you that. Man, so let's go ahead and get it kicked off with you, Rob, man. What happened with you this weekend? What you had going on?
Oh, man, you know, it was cool. As far as, you know, dealing with Halloween. Kids is dressing up, you know, I think there was more of a swell this time around, you know, coming out of COVID. I think more people was more comfortable having their kids go door to door, you know, exchanging, trying to get them Reese's and Kit Kats. You know, dads got to take the dad tax, right? They need to tell them about the dad tax.
I taxed the hell out of that.
I get paid 30% on Reese's. But, yeah, man, it was simple. And, you know, the night was cool at the spot I was at.
Any Dahmers?
Did not see none of them. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God. Because I would have definitely had to check them.
Like, nah, you ain't getting in tonight with that.
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah. Nah, it's not gonna happen. It's not your night.
Not tonight, buddy.
Nah, I didn't really see that.
Okay.
You know, for the most part, man, it was just like, I will say this about just kind of day in, day out, just with, you know, getting people to, you know, once the club clears out, and we talk about it, we preach about it so often, you know, about once the club's out, it's time to go home. It's hollow tip hour. Time to go.
Goddamn, hollow tip?
Hollow tip hour.
Goddamn.
That's exactly how they call it.
Goddamn, that sounds scary than a motherfucker.
But that's what it is. When you're hanging around, that's when the shit go, right? And, you know, I'm a proponent of this. It's like, it's one thing for people to be cool with each other, right?
Right.
But I feel like there's a whole lot of fakeness going on in that area of just because you know the person or just because you know you affiliate. I think people don't equate, you know, the fact of respect. And they don't include that in there. They thinking that, this person like me, this person fuck with me, this person like this. And I'm like, do they really respect you? Because if they respected you, they wouldn't do what they would be doing, and they wouldn't be moving how they moving. So that just, it seems real funny to me. I feel like it's, you know, for the people that know, they know, I feel like it's very one-sided. And, you know, I think you know, if there ain't no consequence, there ain't nobody about to change. So
Right.
So that's just my take on it. But
God
as far as the Halloween thing, man, you know, kids, you know, they did their thing.
Were you speaking in the reference of like people who try to like cut in line and be like, oh, you know me, you remember me as a kid?
Hell no. No, I ain't even referring to that.
Okay.
No.
That's what I took it as. I don't know what you were
nothing
talking
like
about.
that. That is what it is. That comes with it.
I hate that shit too.
But it comes with it though. It don't bother me.
Like
It's just it's one of them things that just that's a you know, that's a consequence of business. You know, that's what it is. But I'm speaking more in line of the people who say that you are cool with. I'm cool with this person. I fucks with this person. Why ain't you moving in a way where you fuck with that person?
Right. Okay.
That's how I look at it. It's like it's in the same level of, you know, you got homies, and let's say they got a business. Let's say they got something going for them, or, you know, they're trying to get it up off the ground, but you standing there asking them for a discount. I equate that the same way. If you really support them, if they're really your people, you pay full price.
Right. Okay.
Not asking for a discount. They
what
they
you're
don't
saying.
need like the discount for what?
Right.
Just because you know their last name. Like that's how that's the part where I'm going with it.
Goddamn.
And I see a lot of that going on in the industry. It's not uncommon. You know, we've worked this. It's kind of just the way it is. It's a lot of glad handling. It's a lot of having to take a back seat and, you know, just appease just so you can make the green keep moving and exchanging hands. But it's you know, depending on what type of person you are, I think that's hard to grasp sometimes.
I can see that, man. That is definitely understandable, man. You know, especially when you're trying to get your own thing off the ground and you ain't done nothing but show nothing but love to everybody. And then when it comes, not even necessarily when it comes time to show love and back in return, but like you actually start something and it's like, dude, like I need you to fuck with me. Like, I need this is me. This is what I'm passionate about
Or just
right now.
move a certain way to help me out, make my job easier, or make what I'm doing easier. Especially if you somebody that I'm cool with. You know what I mean? Like I see people that don't move like that.
Okay.
And the relationship is very, if that's what you want to call it, it's very one sided.
Right. Fuck.
You know what I mean? And
all that from a weekend question.
I'm just saying,
man.
That's what I be saying.
Preach, man. Shit, that's some facts
right
right
some
there.
shit. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, facts. Fuck that.
It is what it is.
It's some good shit. Tony, what you got going on, man? I saw some shit that you had popping off, man. What was you doing?
I just went to I went to two places. I went to Sacramento Screen Park.
Okay.
So
shout out.
That was cool. Went there. It was.
Where was it at?
It was over by off Auburn Boulevard. So you get off on Madison. It's just right there off.
It's the same spot.
Yeah.
Is it over there, like kind of where some of the department stores used to be?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same spot.
So
I ain't been there in a minute. It's been a couple of years. It was definitely before COVID.
Yeah. So this was like his first year back since COVID.
Okay.
So I mean, it was cool. It was really cool. But I mean, it was just cool because I had never been there. So it's like I don't think I would go because some people were asking, is it worth going? You know, to wait the 2-3 hours you got to wait in line. Because if you just pay the general admission, you're going to wait 2-3 hours. Like,
100%. You got to do the VIP, man.
So I did the highest one that was immediate. But then I paid, $56 a ticket for that. So it's like.
Did you do, did they have a structure where it's like 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so that 56 got you in for all 3?
For all 3,
per
yeah.
person. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So I paid that. So, I mean, it's cool. If you're cool with paying the 56, definitely pay it because it's going to be quick. It's like a quick 20, 30 minutes, and then you're out. But, I mean, my ass, I wasn't scared at all. My girl was screaming. Me, I wasn't scared. If anything, they were looking at me and they were scared of me.
That's how it
Like,
always
when I walked,
They touch you?
they wouldn't. Like, I looked through the door and then they would look up to like scare me and they went like.
They're not supposed to touch you.
They're not, but man, them niggas be getting way too close sometimes, and it's just be.
But
like,
I would
kinda
say
wish
this.
they did,
Yeah,
but-
man, I'm gonna ask you on it just because was this your first time?
Yeah.
So when I went, this was this was about maybe 4 years ago, I think. When I went,
when you were scared of shit.
no, never scared. That's the part. The funnest part about it was everybody else's reaction, and it's usually the females, the ones that's really like I said, I had the best seat. I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying just seeing everybody else scream and shit like that. I'm like, they can't touch y'all. So what is you screaming about? Like I get it, it's dark. I get it, it's you running into somebody, that type of thing, and people just have that anxiety. But I'm like, it's for me, that's the way I internalize it. It's not that scary. But the best part that I get about it is, or that I take from it, is seeing everybody else getting scared.
Right.
Like that's the part I be laughing all the way through. They recorded that shit. They just hear my ass laughing through the whole thing because I'm laughing at everybody else's reaction. So I was interested in seeing this. Did you have this similar reaction?
Well, and mine was more. I think I pissed everybody off because
Knowing you, Tony, I'm not
I wasn't
surprised.
scared at all. Cause so what I was doing is every door, because I was like, "What are y'all scared of?" It's like LA. Y'all ain't never watched LAPD, how they break into someone's house and check corners. So I just like when I opened the door, I just opened it, went through, I opened it all the way, and went. No one's back there, right? Nope. Check angles, line of sight. I just kept line of sight in each room. So then when I did see somebody, I saw them from hella far away. Like I ain't scared of no ghosts. Like real ghosts. Like say you go to a real haunted house. Like I'm the type that's like, I'm not gonna be scared because if I see it from far away and it's coming up to me, I'm not gonna get scared. But if it pops up, yeah, I get scared. Like that's why I don't like scary movies, because I don't have peripheral vision in scary movies. Because I can't see shit here and here.
Tony is a ghost hunter.
You know what I mean? So
You know what's funny?
hey, why does Rob sound like the dude that says, "I ain't afraid of no ghosts"?
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
You know what's hella funny is when I went, this was, like I said, this was 4 years ago. But shout out to, some people, they take their job a little serious, and I sometimes the ones that put in that extra effort, they get an A from me. I won't lie, man. I was in there. This, like I said, it was 4 years ago, and I think it was the second one, the second like haunted house part, because it's three stages, right? And we going in, and I don't know it was down the hallway, and I don't know why I felt like somebody was behind me. So I'm figuring it's them doing the shit.
That part.
But bruh, why was dude like dancing, like gigging, like doing the shit, but he was dressed in a zombie? I start busting up laughing because I thought it was so fucking funny. And at the time, I was with somebody else, on the date or whatever, and she turned around and she fucking freaking out and all this stuff. I'm laughing because dude is literally like gigging in the little costume, but the shit was funny as hell.
That's the shit that fuck with me. See, like me, I don't like motherfuckers walking behind me, just on a normal.
But you know they can't touch you.
But just in general,
Like,
like
it's
I'm
not
walking
a-
down the street, man, and you walking behind me. Nah, I'm gonna either slow down, let you pass me, because I got, I feel weird, and you're walking behind me and everything. Like, hey, what you got planned? You know what I mean? So when I go to this haunted house, it was at Santa Cruz. It was a few years ago. I'm always checking my six. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody finna catch me from behind. That's sad to say.
This nigga checking his six.
I'm checking my six in a haunted house.
You.
Well, mainly because, when we went, it's sad to say, it's kind of hard to get scared when they release you in certain groups, and these groups are like maybe only like 30 seconds in front of you, so you hear them screaming, so you know something's finna come up ahead. You know what I mean? So like in that aspect, you're not afraid of what's coming. You afraid of somebody creeping up behind you, and sure enough, hell, it was this light tunnel, and it was spinning and shit, right? And we're walking through it, and the guy's dizzy as shit. I ain't gonna lie, but I checked my six before walking. I was good. Nothing behind me. I make it to the other end of this bitch, and
Caught your ass slipping.
caught
boy.
me slipping because the wife turned around and she grabbed me. She was like, "Okay, let's go together," type stuff. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I got you, girl." She's not scared. I'm a thug, nasty thug. You know what I'm saying? She grabbed me by the waist. Little homie come by. It wasn't even. It was subtle. It was a. I was like, "Oh!" Nigga caught me slipping. Oh man, that was the one time I
You
did.
too damn big to be that scared.
Bro, he caught me slipping in my man, don't fuck with my six, man. Shit, I don't even like people walking behind me.
Man, are you the type that's like?
I don't like it.
Are you the type that like can't? So you're the type that gets up in the movie theater and tries to cover like your front side and back side because you think like something's gonna stick it up your butt, huh?
What?
Yeah, you are.
What?
I love how you took his story and you ran with it, where he felt like he was going to get impaled.
What? Bro. Anyways, but in general, man, it was a fun weekend for me as well, man. It was Halloween, man. My son was dressed up as Mr. 24 Karat himself, Bruno Mars, man. Everybody got a kick. Yeah, everybody got a kick out of that.
No, that was dope costume.
Yeah,
I like that.
It was real nice, man. And then I found myself over at the park.
Okay.
But I forgot it was Halloween. I think it was Friday. I just came in regular street clothes. My boy came in a hoodie, which of course they had him take it off. But, but we came in just some regular street clothes, and I forgot it was motherfucking Halloween. Let me tell you, man, I saw Woody, right? And I was like, Woody. And it was a girl dressed. It looked like Woody, Sheriff Woody, right? She turns around and she's like, no, it's Jesse. I'm sure it's Jesse. I was like, oh, Jesse. She turns around, walks off. I'm like,
He said, Jesse.
Jesse.
You said
God
like,
damn it, Jesse.
why'd you say it with cholesterol in your voice?
Because man, they went from Sheriff Jesse from Toy Story to Jesse.
No, he was talking
God
about like
damn
you
it.
trying to impersonate Mike Epps.
Yeah.
When he was talking about
Jesse.
when he was, that Obama bit.
Damn.
Jesse. God damn it, Jesse.
You
But no,
trying to
man,
call
it was.
me a bitch on the mic.
But it was cool, man. Like, honestly, it was a cool night out. DJs was spinning. The Bottle Silver girls were dressed very scary, hauntedly-ish. It was cool, man. It was a cool vibe, man. I gotta give a shout out to them because that was the one spot that I did hit up this weekend. But it was like a semi-packed. It was packed, but not overly packed. I can't explain that. You know what I mean? Like, it was perfect.
It was a full house.
It was a full house, you know what I mean? But you don't got to worry about like, man, I can't get through, but it was still kind of tight to get through. But it was a cool night. I'm not sure if it was that busy where you was at this weekend, man. But
No, it was slam.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it was slam.
Ah,
For sure.
slam like these deals, man. Slam like the NFL, man. That was another thing that happened over the weekend. All these blockbuster trades that is happening in the NFL, man. So look, I'm a Steeler fan, man. Steeler fan till I die. I'm a true fan to Ben Roethlisberger. Man, that boy can sling the ball, even though he really couldn't throw the ball, but he really wanted to win.
Why are you talking about Roethlisberger? He
Because,
ain't on
man,
the team.
one of the big blockbuster trades was Claypool. And back when Claypool and Ben Roethlisberger were playing together, he actually looked good. But since we've had some quarterback dilemmas this year, he's had his
I
moments
thought
to
that was
shine.
an interesting trade. Why y'all would give him up? Because I feel like he's a up and coming wide receiver. What y'all get for him?
We got some picks for next year.
What pick?
Second round pick from Chicago Bears. which was actually a pretty good
That's
pick.
going to be a high pick.
Yeah, it's going to be a
from
good
Chicago because they're not going to be that good this year.
True. But at the same time, though, like, we got to pick for a solid wide receiver. And I get it. We got Pickens, which is definitely the superstar. Technically, to me, in my eyes, he been playing like a number one wide receiver, but they got him on the third string. You know what I mean? Or the third slot. So I feel like he's going to take a next step in his league and his role. But one of those things that I've noticed is like Antonio Brown. What Antonio Brown did for Juju Smith-Schuster was made Juju look good because AB was taking the double. He was taking the man on top. They're not going to get burned by AB. So it leaves Juju open. And ever since AB left, Juju really wasn't the same guy. So I say it in that same aspect when it comes to.
Well, he never was number one.
They're treating him like a number one where he's at now in Kansas City.
Is he number one or is
He's
Travis
not-
Kelce number one?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the position as a wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. Everybody knows the ball goes through Travis Kelce,
Yeah,
but
but-
he's still a tight end who blocks on every other down.
Yeah, but I still think Kelce in that offense is the number one target. And you can say that Juju might be the number one wide receiver number one
listed.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's Tyreek Hill.
They're expecting him to be something like it,
But he ain't Tyreek.
Ain't nobody Tyreek Hill. Speaking of Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins, they had some
moves,
huge
brother.
trades. They got a defensive guy and Bradley
Bradley
Chubb.
Chubb.
And then they also got
Jeff Wilson.
from the Niners. Yeah,
but I think that was going to come because of the McCaffrey trade, which you talking about the trades, and McCaffrey he looked real good against the Rams, throwing a touchdown, running and catching a touchdown, doing the triple crown for touchdowns last week.
That's a blockbuster trade of the
I
year.
think for the type of caliber player he is, and if when he's healthy, he's probably a top 2 running back. But I think that was going to happen. The Niners were going to listen to trade offers for Wilson because they don't. Mitchell's coming back,
right?
Elijah Mitchell, so he's going to probably be more
Number
the
2.
the worker. I think he's going to be more the workhorse.
You kidding me?
I think he's going to be more the workhorse as far as going in between the tackles. I think they're going to use McCaffrey in a lot of the
passes,
open set,
screens.
that type of thing. I think he'll get a good amount of carries, but I feel like Mitchell's probably built more for taking more of the punishment than McCaffrey might be. I mean, we'll see how it plays out because the way Kyle Shanahan runs the offense with the running game, I feel like you can put almost anybody back there and they're gonna shine.
Tevin Coleman was the reason why I say it's a good pick. When Tevin Coleman's in the game, that passing running back,
Right.
everyone flourishes.
No,
Tevin Coleman
it's definitely a different dynamic. for the
Garoppolo
offense.
does.
He needs that check down security blanket type of player, and I think McCaffrey brings that element to the game. So we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the season. But yeah, no, it was some great trades. But staying on the sports, man. This was just kind of something that came up, So this was a little bit of an audible that we're doing to the show. Obviously a lot of people talking about Kanye last week in regards to kind of some of his comments. Anti-Semitic.
There you go. I couldn't say the damn word.
Comments and things like that, or that were taken that way. Kyrie Irving with the Brooklyn Nets, is basically was in a situation where he posted on Twitter basically promoting or not even promoting. It had no words of context. It was just him posting a link to a documentary that was put out that a lot of people felt was interpreted as being anti-Semitic. Before we kind of get into it, we want to kind of play some of the things that's kind of going on real quick. So let's do that.
Future in Brooklyn, I think it's fair to say, is unclear because he has shown so far a resolve, a resistance.
Oh, so the Nets suspended him 5 games.
And to not
Yeah.
announce what is in that movie. And so I think for Brooklyn, they were in a position now where they had to suspend Kyrie Irving. The environment around the team, I think it was unsustainable. And there certainly had been the impact not just on the team and the basketball, I think the smallest part of it, but the organization, the community in Brooklyn, in New York, and I think for the NBA, this was a story and a situation that was not going to go away. And Brooklyn, again, I think Joe Tsai, their owner, thought that he could educate did not reach him. And now, finally, after a week, there's a punishment. 5 games without pay.
I mean, 5 games without pay, that's a slap on the hand. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably
It's
making $1
still
million
paper. It's
a
still
game.
paper, though.
It is still paper, but in the aspect of, you know, what he's trying to do and what he's trying to promote, I feel like he's trying to ride the same Kanye wave and really testing the waters of is it really freedom of speech, or do I have that freedom to do and say what I want? Let me test that. Let me test that boundary. You know, I feel like that's truthfully what's really going on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not even sure of the book or movie that, you know, he was trying to label. I've never seen or heard of it, to be 100% honest with you. So I don't have a fair opinion or judgment on what they're trying to say as far as anti-Semitic or Semitic. It's one of them.
So this is a, you know, Kyrie Irving, he's a different individual. The way he likes to carry himself, he's a free thinker.
Okay.
You know, he's not, you know, he's not the conventional.
He's a conspiracy, for sure.
I wouldn't even say conspiracy. I don't even want to throw that on him. I think he's more, you know, I have my opinion of his basketball play. I've said this often. Anybody that knows me, that when we talk about sports, whether you at any of the jobs that I'm at, they know how I feel about his basketball play. I think he's a great basketball player. I think he's probably the best beta player out.
Okay.
And people say, well, beta, why would you say beta? Why ain't he alpha? Because every time he's been the big dog, he came up short.
Right.
So, but his talent is excellent talent. But that being aside, I've always appreciated his, you know, free thought and just to kind of where he stands, you know, whether it be the situation with the vaccine, just his own personal beliefs in regards to that. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. That's how the man feels. Now, there is a difference between this is how you feel, whether this is how he feels in this situation or with the vaccine, all the different scenarios that that we could talk about. But there's also a consequence that comes with that. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but are you free of the consequences? And so there's, you know, at the end of the day, this is a money-driven business, and there's certain interests that have to, you know, get their cut. And if they feel that that's going to cut in on their money or if that's going to hurt their feelings, whatever the case may be, whether that be the financiers, the investors, that type of thing, that always has to be considered.
He just gave $500,000 to a charity that is supportive of the community that he was
From what I
supposedly
heard, though,
dissing.
they said they're not going to accept it.
Right. I mean, obviously.
From what I heard, they said that they're not going to accept his donation.
When did he get that money?
You know why?
I think it was just the other day.
You want to know why? It's because he really didn't apologize.
So
you can't just give people money.
So, but we gotta stay up to date on this. As far as context goes, he did just issue an apology. Literally, probably I think about maybe 30 minutes ago.
What was the apology? Him saying, "Actually, I'm sorry,"
Yeah.
or was it saying like
It
I was
literally
taking
just came out.
responsibility?
No, it's literally just came out. So this is after him just being suspended. So I think if we trying to stay on the timeline, he was suspended probably about maybe 3 hours ago,
Okay.
3-4 hours ago, and he just issued out an apology statement. I would say, like I said, just maybe like 20 minutes ago, 20, 30 minutes ago. What they're referencing, and I think that I think this is important though, is the comparison deal. You know, with
Comparison to-
going in being anti-Semitic. I think that term gets thrown on the people, very quickly. I think racism gets thrown on the people very quickly. I think that's a very quick and easy term and label that you can put on somebody to discredit someone. And I think that's not always the best approach, and nor is it fair. In this situation, you know, we're talking about him being suspended, and should the Nets suspended him? They're a business. At the end of the day, I can't say to a business whether they should suspend someone if they feel that they're going to lose money. And this goes with going all the way back to the Kaepernick situation, who I 100% supported, but I understood from the team's perspective why they didn't want it, because they didn't want the circus, because they felt like the people that, you know, exchange money with them would lose money based on bringing him on the team or even entertaining the idea of bringing him in the training camp. So I understood it. Did I think it was right? No, I didn't think it was right.
Tony,
But,
let me ask you real quick. Do you think 5 games suspension is enough for the comments or remark, not even comments, but the message that was technically put out there on social media? Do you think 5 games is enough?
Enough.
I'm not even talking about enough or not. That's for the team to dictate. That is, like, I agree with Rob. Like, you have to deal with the consequences. You know what I mean? If you're going to stand up for something, yeah, you got to deal with the consequences. Is what it is. Free speech. You know what I mean? You have consequences at the end of it. I disagree with him apologizing. I don't think you should have to apologize for information. I think it's I hate this world that we live in. That's like you can't have a fair exchange of information, which we'll probably talk about a little bit later with the subject of, Twitter. And it's just sad that what he was talking about is literally the book that me and Rob have already read. It's this book right here that we've already read. And it's like, if the documentary was anything like this book, there's a few things we kind of disagree with, but at the same time, it's information. So if you have something to rebuttal that information, instead of going, how dare you say that? How about, hey, let me fact check you, or let me rebuttal with this. This is our history that we have written. This is why I don't believe in what you're talking about, or why I think what you're talking about is false. I think we should have better exchange. You know what I mean? Instead of just, oh, nope, suspended, whatever you do. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the team's, that's the whole, organization's deal. But I think people as a whole that see Kyrie Irving are probably like, man, how can you say that? You're anti-Semitic. You're this. Like, that's like, no, bro, you don't even know what he was talking about. You don't even know the documentary that he's talking about, that book, what it's doing, the information that's in that book that's so powerful to black people that it makes me sad. It makes me really sad.
Okay.
And I think that's the point. I think a lot of people are missing, and I preface the statement by saying this: just because you say, hey, you should educate yourself, you should come out and say, hey, this is some information out there that you might want to look into. That's not being anti anything. I don't care if it's anti-Semitic, anti-black, anti-white, anti-any race. It's not, or anti-any religion. That doesn't mean that. You're putting some out there. It's information in the ether that people can consume, and they can make the decision for themselves. I'm a proponent of actually reading literature and film and movies from people who you don't necessarily agree with. That's how you educate yourself and you find your center as a person. I'm not Muslim, but I have a Quran.
Right.
That doesn't. So does that make me anti-Christian? So I looked at from that perspective, and context matters. And especially when someone like Kyrie Irving promoting that, and I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know the man. I don't. I don't know the purpose behind why he was, why he posted the documentary that ultimately got him suspended. And there's some information in there that may, that have offended, the Jewish community or people who are affiliated with the Jewish community or practice that religion, that hold that sacred. But I think there's you do have to take that in the context of, okay, what is he saying? He's saying, hey, he promoted. There was no context. There was no words. He didn't quote something out of the documentary that I'm aware of. He didn't say like, hey, you guys should definitely watch this because this is 100% truth and everything else you've been told is a lie and all of this stuff. Like, you can't just come out and say that, oh, he's being anti this when he's just putting out information. As I said, though, earlier, the Nets they're running a business. And when you ask the question about the 5-game suspension, that's up to the organization to make that determination.
Here's my thing. I didn't think they even wanted to suspend him in the first place. Why did it take so long for them to come down to this ruling? What were they really waiting on? They were waiting on a public apology.
Well, I think they probably did. They were waiting for it, and in him not apologizing, I think they took it as a slap in the face, or they took it as, oh, you believe
they almost did,
in this documentary. Basically, you're basically doubling down. It's how I think that how they took it, because he even said it. They forced their hand. I think before we continue on anymore, I think it's important to maybe hear someone else's side of it. We just heard ESPN, basically the Brooklyn Nets side of things. Let's listen to Kyrie Irving's side of this.
Okay, 2 sides of the story. You right. Take my responsibility.
Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, in the first time you guys asked.
This is prior to the suspension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody posts a documentary, so I take my responsibility.
What's this hat say? You know you got to look at these niggas' hats nowadays.
Were you apologizing or not?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
Didn't mean to cause any harm. Didn't make the documentary.
I think some of the criticism of the Jewish faith in the community, for sure. Some points made in there that were unfortunate.
Kyrie, are you surprised?
Unfortunate points.
Surprised that I did hurt people?
Are you surprised that she asked?
Almost makes me think he didn't watch it. What you mean, bro? Like, I need to watch it, but it's pertaining to the book.
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just,
Be specific.
where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from?
Okay.
Why I'm proud to stand here.
Okay.
Why, when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people.
Thank you.
I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this is pinned me against
Okay.
the Jewish community. And
Don't talk about them.
I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not.
Talk about any other race but
Something I
them.
didn't create. And it was something I shared. And I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility. Then that's where I sit. So,
Yeah,
the
some
same
very good
question that
points.
you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person.
Yeah, some very valid points.
Dealing with
Honestly,
Perfect.
every interview I saw of this, cut it real short. And when he actually got real for a second and talked about where were you when 300,000 of my people
No,
were
it's like
buried.
say it, million.
300, 300 million, excuse me. All right, of my people, my ancestors were buried. Like, I didn't really hear that part of him and his passion behind, his argument. And I hate to say this, but sometimes it's almost like the media takes certain things out of context and it almost blows it up, almost like this situation,
because they're
right?
ran by them. They're ran by them, and I can't say it.
I will say this though: the second half of him being real had a very valid point. The first half, I was against him. I was against the fact that he didn't apologize for his actions. I was against him. But after understanding, you're right. After understanding what he said and his side of things, and how people took what he put out there in their own way and ran with it. What about his side?
I think I think the comparison is important,
Right.
and I think the conversation is important. And I don't want to sit here and just say, or anyone that may feel that way, as far as just the term being anti-Semitic. I feel like that, like I said, man, it just gets thrown on people.
It's a stereotype.
Or any label
It's a
you want
stereotype.
to call somebody. It's just
Right.
it's just a quick way to dismiss somebody.
Brother Farrakhan was,
Yeah,
Martin Luther King was, Muhammad Ali was.
And I feel like that's the wrong approach to go about things. Like, if you're just putting information out there, I think the information is important, and the audience, the people, need to make the decision on what they feel is valid or not. Like, so I think with him, I think he's saying what he's saying just because, and like I said, this was prior to his apology. So just to be clear, he has come out and put out an official apology after he was suspended. So this what we just listened to was prior to
he was
him
suspended.
being suspended. And I think this is what the NBA commissioner and the Brooklyn Nets owner, they were waiting for him to come out and actually issue an apology. That's why they were asking him about the apology. And he felt like he didn't need to apologize because he didn't make the video. He makes a valid point in that aspect, that I didn't make the documentary. Just if we just wanted to get technical, he didn't make the documentary.
True.
He posted it
Very true.
as if it's information. So like I just the analogy that I gave earlier, me as someone who, I guess you would say, most of my life I've grew up Christian. I've grew up Baptist. That's just kind of how I grew up, right? So if I just posted a link to the Quran, is that me
Being
shit, like saying anti-Christianity? Like, and you're automatic, I owe the Christianity, the Christian community an apology?
right.
Like, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, he didn't add any context. It would be different if he actually quoted something that was very demonstrative or very specific or very hurtful to a specific religious group, 100%. And I feel like that's not the right way to go about it. He didn't do that.
My question is, how are we supposed to feel now about the Brooklyn Nets suspending this man after he came out and spoke his truth, and then also showed us the reason why he did what I guess he did, which is, you know, it was his heritage. So now are we supposed to feel some way against the Brooklyn Nets? And you know what I mean? Like now you're sitting here punishing someone
the Brooklyn
based
Nets
upon
are doing
their beliefs. So.
Well, I think the Brooklyn Nets, and correct me if I'm wrong. The fact checkers out there, correct me if I'm wrong. Is the
crazy.
Brooklyn Nets owner Jewish?
I don't know.
From what I've heard.
I mean, I don't know. We'd have to fact check it, but I mean, regardless if he is, he probably changed his last name. I mean,
no, but what I'm just saying in that context, because if that is the case, you know, or anyone that's making the decisions, let's call it Adam Silver, anybody, if anybody's that's making the decisions on him being suspended, and they are personally feeling offended by that, and they're making the decision on suspending him, that's a different context, because you can't just go out flat out and insult the person cutting your check and expect no consequence. And at least, and the interpretation of an insult is from the person that believes they've been insulted, not the other way around. So interpretation means something. Whether we can decipher whether it was actually an insult or not, the person receiving is the one that's taking the action. So it's a complex issue.
Shout out Steve Nash.
No, he ain't got a job.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He ain't got a job.
Come be a guest. Sit right here.
They're going to blame it on him.
Let us know what happened, right?
I don't give a damn what anybody say. The Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to switch it up to basketball on this one. Please, stop letting KD get off the hook. He's not LeBron. He ain't Kobe. He ain't Jordan. Start holding him accountable. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Because the Brooklyn Nets is trash, and he on the team, and he the leader.
So yeah, he's supposed to be the alpha, right? And then you got the beta is Kyrie.
Just dodging them lasers, man. Them lasers of criticism. Because the guys that's number one, they don't get to dodge them lasers. But he be dodging them like he in the Matrix.
Take all that blame on your shoulder. Just keeping it on the subject with this social, media, and obviously Kyrie putting out there in social media whatever he wanted to say, right? Did he tweet that? What did he do? Was it a tweet?
He just tweeted out basically promoting the I think it was the Amazon link or something like that of the documentary.
Is that tweet still up?
No, he deleted it.
He deleted it personally. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Obviously, you got a new owner. Let's go ahead and bridge over to the Elon Musk conversation. New head of Twitter. He walked straight in there and just cleaned house. Cleaned house as best he could. But I mean, I'm mentioning it because if he's owner of Twitter, what is he really doing? What benefit is he adding to Twitter right now as far as people who are messaging and actually like tweeting with it? What benefit is it now that Elon Musk is in charge? Let me ask that.
Benefit, that's time's gonna tell on that. I think the first thing he did, before we even get there, I mean, he's the boss man of Twitter. Right. Elon Musk making his rounds through Twitter's headquarters in the Bay, firing executives, making algorithm changes and verified policy additions. Let's read the article first. Let's kind of go into that. Let's pull that up.
My understanding was he basically bought it.
Fifth over.
He bought it basically to allow freedom of speech, I guess, a little bit more better, a little bit more publicly.
Our wonderful producers are going to put that video up on the screen. Elon Musk has arrived at Twitter's San Francisco offices, just off Market Street. You and I know them well.
Is that a sink?
Just let that sink in.
Let it sink in, y'all. Y'all motherfuckers fire.
Staff are being encouraged to say hello to him when they see Elon Musk, and we're told he will address staff on Friday.
What's that?
As you said in the top of the show,
the Washington Post and Bloomberg both reporting last week that Musk was telling potential equity investors in this company to cut headcount by as much as 75%. As I've reported, morale is not great right now at Twitter.
Let's learn how to code.
Piece of news being reported by Bloomberg. According to sources, some
We'll need some
equity
new
investors,
workers.
not on the debt side but the equity side, have already transferred their committed capital to Musk lawyers. So it looks like all signs.
That's a lot of people, though,
Right.
That's crazy.
to lose
That's
their
crazy.
jobs.
I heard it's more like 54%. He just
yeah.
announced today.
Yeah, it was like the numbers I was hearing, it was between 50 and 75% of the
This motherfucker
base
Thanos.
is getting rid of people.
He Thanos, huh?
Pretty much. Just
boom, gone.
he came in there, man, with BDE.
Jeez.
It's the reason why.
BDE. Explain.
Big dick industry.
The reason why he kind of has to do that is because if you look at the employee contributions to, like, you know, elections, I think it was like 97, 98% of them gave to the Democratic Party. And it's obvious when you look at what's happening on Twitter in terms of who they're shadow banning and stuff like that, that it was one-sided. So that's the reason why he kind of is leaning to that, you know, fact of having to let go so many people. So it's just, wow, that's a lot of people. Like,
So basically-
hope you have somebody that knows what they're doing to actually do the job, you know, in terms of coding, data scientists, stuff like that, things that you need to know in order to.
Yeah, but
work
I'm
the
gonna
job.
say this though. At the end of the day, if you're letting go, I gotta push back on that.
Discrimination?
Because if you're pushing back, if you're taking out 50 to 70, let's say 50 to 75% of your base, they're all at the directive to do that. They're not making the personal decision.
Well, that's why the way they're doing it is they're actually going to do it in terms of, like, I guess you could say, what do we call it when you have the rule book and stuff like that that you're supposed to go by? They're going to retroactive basically acts that were done. While, like, you know, basically if someone was misusing their powers, they're going to look into that. So, which I guess they can literally see how many people have been doing that, which is why they put those numbers up. So
That's
I
crazy.
got to push back on that because I wouldn't necessarily say that's the act of, because then you're basically saying, okay, I'm gonna fire this 50 to 75% and then I'm gonna replace it with what's gonna be on your interview process. Are you
Right, that's what I
Democratic or
wanna know, yeah.
Republican? Like
exactly.
that, like, which would be bullshit, which you can't ask nobody. So that'd be kind of stupid to eliminate those people to replace them with others when you're not gonna be able to determine
What
whether
party
they're
they are.
binary on
what was the reasoning for letting
political
go?
party.
What was the reasoning letting go of the CFO and the CEOs?
Oh, well, that's common. I don't have a problem with getting rid of the executives. They usually do that in most mergers and most, one company assuming another, consuming
So what's going to be
another
the
company.
reason? What's going to be the reasons for the people?
No, but I don't know what his
Invoke
reason
the
is.
change.
That's what we need to find out.
Yeah,
Invoke the
I don't
change.
know, because if that's a huge amount of people. I can understand why he's getting rid of, to your point, the point you made, I don't disagree with. I disagree if that's the reason why you're getting rid of them, then you're getting rid of 50 to 75% of the workers. They don't have the authority.
Yeah.
They're being told and given directives to do certain things.
That's why higher
so that's
ups
why I
gotta
said
go.
I agree with if he's going after getting rid
higher
of
ups.
the executive. They're the ones making the decisions.
Right.
They're the ones giving the directives to the other employees to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm not because if you're firing them basically because you feel like they're leaning towards one more political party than the other,
Right.
that's kind of false, because now you're assuming who they voted for. Like even though they may have been given a directive in that sense. So, and just to speak on it, most mergers, this is not uncommon. They usually shake things up. They get rid of certain executives that's at the top because they want to implement a new, mission statement. They want to implement a new pathway for the company. And usually you have to kind of tear down a little bit just to build back up.
Right.
So that's not uncommon. That's most of the time, any type of merger, there's usually cuts.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
usually what happens. The
Absolutely.
dude boss man coming in, basically like this. It's on some BDE. I pay $40 billion for some shit. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do.
Speaking of this fool's BDE,
It's like-
why did he buy Twitter? Why? Why is the question?
He can.
Why?
Because of what's been going on, the fact that it's so politically motivated and people getting shadow banned and everybody, like, I got banned on there. Like I'm telling you, it's you can't go on there and speak anything to the right at all. You speak anything on the right, you will immediately, because the left will say some crazy shit, something about abortion or something about whatever. Somebody just says, "Well, I don't agree with it with this." Boom, shadow ban.
So we have this reporter.
or just
Her
banned
name
in
is
general.
AOC. I believe it's like Alexandria.
Cortez.
Oscar Cortez, right? Who felt like she was basically banned even under new ownership with Elon Musk under control.
That does falsify. She wasn't banned.
Honestly, I felt like she was having some Wi-Fi issues. She was mentioning certain things right there, and I work in a location where I don't get Wi-Fi, I don't get data at all. So she could have just been having some data issues. But, you know, the subscription issues, he's now the new owner. You know, is freedom of speech technically free? Nah, it's $8 a month. It's a subscription, right?
No, it's still free. You can still have a Twitter.
Well, no. I'm not talking about that. So he has been making some changes.
Yeah.
So he has. So one of the things, obviously, firing some of the executives. That's been the other thing. One thing that he did is kind of remove a lot of the filters. So there was what people may have noticed over here over the past week.
Bots.
And the N-word and you know Jewish slurs was rampant. Now, I'll say this: do I think a small portion of those people really have that hate in their heart, and they were saying that, taking advantage that they're able to say those terms without any repercussions or consequences? Yeah, but I think that was definitely the minority. I think the majority of what you saw was people either trolling or just trying to prove a point. Just basically trying to say, hey, when you remove these type of filters, this is what I can say on here without any type of, checks and balances, which I'm not mad at those people. If that was the way, if that was your intention, is to kind of show that, I ain't got nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. You're that's what you believe in. I can disagree or not. That's not me to say. But if your position of it was like, hey, I'm using this as an opportunity to kind of show, hey, we may need to have some checks and balances, and this is the reason why, I have no problem with that. But I think the narrative that was kind of going around is literally now all the racists got free reign. And that's the false narrative, because that's not what is happening. Because if y'all want to see some racism, you ask Tony, bro. Get on the game.
Get on Warzone.
Get on Warzone. Get on one of these.
Crazy.
Get on one of these online gaming blogs or one of these online gaming zones where dudes is playing Call of Duty or something like that.
They don't even direct it at anybody. It's just like, who can say it in the most craziest modulated way, like, you know what I mean? Like, how cool can you say it? You know what I mean?
You sounded like that kid from Wild Thornberry. Boy.
Iggy Azalea.
Oh my God, bro! It's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. I only wanted to bring that up, obviously, because things are monitored nowadays. You know, even this show right now, still.
Yeah, we canceled anyways.
Yeah, I know, right? We were canceled last week. Jeez.
But you mentioned it, just to touch on it with the whole payout. So he's not charging people to have Twitter. He's charging people to be verified. And that, I will say this, I
thought it was $20 too, by the way.
It's gone to $8, I think.
Yeah,
well,
$8.
I don't know the particular. I've seen $8. I've seen different numbers. I don't know what the number is. But I don't know. I'm not a person who really utilizes Twitter. I'm just be honest with you. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask on this. I don't hold it as sacred. You know, the times that I go on there is usually when someone sends me something to link, and then I'm checking out the article or whatever they sent me, right?
Very true.
So I'm not somebody that utilizes that much. I will say this, that there's some good debate on this, whether that's a good idea, because to be verified on some of these sites usually takes more than just having money. I got $8. You got $8, and so do you. So we can make ourselves verified for $8? That kind of diminishes the point of being verified. You know, I would think that I don't think, especially someone who doesn't utilize Twitter at all, should have to, you know, if just for a measly $8 I can become verified, so I'm at the same level of verification as Barack Obama or LeBron James or Joe Rogan.
I thought it was verified just to show that you're not a bot, though. Because I know you get special privileges and stuff like that.
It's a little different.
And business, is it more for business?
I don't know the parameters
Wonder.
behind it.
But I think verified is just to make sure. Part of the reason why they were talking about it is because, well, this reason why it's good that Elon Musk is doing this. Somebody was saying it's smart because now when it comes to businesses and people wanting to put advertisements, he can charge more, saying no, these people are verified. These are real people. These aren't bots. They are going to receive your advertisement. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why they were doing that. So,
Yeah, but if they're charging a certain amount of money for a verified account, verified is that blue check.
yeah, because mine's locked. But then it's like,
But
well,
what
I
I'm
had to
saying,
make a new one.
what
So
I'm
that's
saying
two
is
now.
that if you can pay to get that blue check mark,
Yeah.
that diminishes the value of that check mark prior to.
Just like
100%.
They said it on The Incredibles. Once everybody's super, nobody is.
Huh? I wonder if there'll be levels to it then.
No,
Damn.
come on, man. You know, come on, Incredibles. Come on, I know y'all
To
watch
be
Incredibles.
honest with you, I'm super familiar with Incredibles.
Yeah,
I have never seen either of the movies. I know people gonna be mad at me. I've never
seen them either.
Shout out to The Ride. The Ride is dope as fuck as Disneyland.
oh, it is. It is.
I know it's
dope
racist.
as
I
fuck.
got on that thing like 3 times.
It is dope as hell.
But
no,
I ain't never seen the movie.
It's
I've
symbolic.
never seen the movie. I know when you're referencing it, I know what you're talking about. But when you just said what you said right there, I didn't get it. Sorry.
What he does is he's a normal person, right? He doesn't have superpowers. He's a normal kid who got rejected by a superhero, and he grew up to be super. He bought equipment. He's like Iron Man, basically, but he's more diabolical. You know what I mean? And he says he's finna sell his inventions to everybody.
Okay.
And he's finna make everybody a superhero. And once everybody's a superhero, no one is, right? We're all equal.
So I get the point now.
yeah.
So
okay.
and I think that's a more
verified point.
You know, a much
Disney
more.
elaborate version
That's
of
a
it.
Disney
Yeah.
way of explaining it.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Anybody that's Disney fan, they would have understood that. That went
Absolutely.
over my head like oxygen.
How does oxygen go over?
It's
I'm just-
already over.
I'm gonna have to just say, I mean, my bad. I just don't understand it. My brain doesn't. I can't understand it.
What I just said?
No, it's just with the verified thing. I'm just confused because I'm like, I don't see how it diminishes. It just means you're verified. It doesn't mean either this or either that. It means you're verified.
No, it does diminish it. There's you don't if someone gets on the Twitter, you are not verified.
They didn't pay.
That blue check mark. What that's supposed to signify is your, I guess you would say your clout. You as far as your
Exactly.
celebrity
That part.
status.
Oh, I
Like
didn't know
you
that.
have
That's
like
why I'm asking.
a million
Okay.
Yeah,
followers.
no. I think what you're thinking
Or-
of is just verified, like verification of the account.
Yeah.
No, verify when you have a blue check next to yours. That usually means you're a celebrity or something
right.
like that.
Somebody
Oh.
Like-
important.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So somebody that has a huge following, or someone that that is famous. Like usually, guys get verified. Like when they get drafted out the NFL, they usually get that blue check mark.
But haven't, sir, this is why I didn't get it, was because ever since I've had Twitter, I could always become verified. This was before Musk. So I'm like, wait, you've always been able to just pay to get verified.
I don't know about
Something
that.
like
Once
that. I
again,
think
I'm not a
it's a
Twitter
little-
user
no, I think
like that.
It was
so-
$5. Yeah, it's been on there for like I've had it, and it says it's always asked me to pay for the $5 for the.
And you got a blue check mark next to your
You got
name?
a check mark to it. That's why I'm
Oh, so
confused.
maybe you might be better at than explaining it to me because
Yeah.
the blue check mark for most of these
To me,
apps
I thought.
is you have to have a certain following. You have to have a certain. It's
Right.
it's embraced
like-
that way. Like Snoop Dogg, for example, it's verified that his account that he got is verified. There's a whole bunch of people that are impersonating Snoop Dogg. There's a whole bunch of people that saying I'm Snoop Dogg or whatever, and I got this that type of thing. But he's Snoop, so he gets that blue check next. Whether it's Instagram, whether it's I don't know if Facebook got one.
That made
But-
you understand what the fuck we was talking about? Oh my
Okay,
god.
so
Yeah,
basically what
makes
he's
sense.
saying is if
Oh my god.
and maybe I need to understand the parameters behind it. Maybe I might be lost. So forgive me on that part. So maybe I'm a little bit different on that. But from what I took from it and from what I've read about it is to pay the money for whether it's $8, $20, whatever the money is that you're paying to be verified basically with that blue check mark. That to me, I don't think you should be able to have the ability to pay for. To me, that's something that says to be earned, not paying $8.
Like,
Everybody
I
got
believe it'll be-
$8.
It should
like,
be both.
I feel like you should have to
It should
just
be
like
both.
a lot of websites do this. Like I think the forgot what it was, something for the state that you do. They do this, but I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't you just have them update their not update, but upload their fucking ID, have them update all their information. Like, no, this is who I am. You know what I mean? Because I think my dad kind of went through that with Twitter or something like that too, where someone was trying to impersonate him, saying all this right wing stuff, and my dad's like totally not. And so it was like I had to go in and like put his ID in and give it to them for them to like cancel out those other accounts. You know what I mean? So
Or give him the check
that's why
mark.
it made sense to me now that he has said that, because I'm like, oh yeah, people do try to impersonate people. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense with the verified then. You know what I mean?
Well, it's for that, but it's also the verification is more for just the main reason behind it, as far as the app is concerned, is to verify. Okay, this is that person.
Right.
That's the first
I
thing.
understand that.
The second part is a clout thing. It's a status thing.
Because truth be told, you could be making thousands of dollars just by having it and advertising just one simple thing. Matter of fact, let's talk about the Blue Chew, the Chick Lit couple. That's all they advertise. They're verified.
What it does is it provides you credibility.
Right.
So if you were able to have a blue check mark next to yours, it's kind of like, oh, this person's official. This person's legit.
Right.
This person, I should listen to this person. This person's content is somebody that I feel like should be above all else. Like it provides a sense of it's kind of like being at the club.
Absolutely.
It's no different than being at the club.
Gold
It's
members.
like somebody paying at general admission. Somebody got a VIP booth. Like that's what it is. It's all about hierarchy. It's all about position.
Speaking of which, take this time to go ahead and like and subscribe, turn on your notifications for us so we can get that blue check mark. Thank you. Anyways, but you are 100% correct. It is like being in the club, not having to pay general admission opposed to having that booth. You know what I mean? So you kind of learn after you get that status, that clout. Speaking of clout, man, I mean, it seems like it's almost a negative or a deterrent to having clout and being in that limelight nowadays as we switch gears and talk about something that really happened tragically over the weekend with a famous person. His name is Takeoff, part of the Migos. And first things first, man, I am going to say condolences to him and his family. Someone please check on Quavo. I know he's going through it right now. If anything, in situations like this, the one thing that's running through my mind is Red. I need my revenge. I need I need him hit. But at the same time, when you're thinking about that revenge and trying to get this person back for something that you can't ever get back, it's never going to fill that void. So even if you do get that person, even if that person does get got, they don't bring back that soul that you've lost, that brother that you know you can say and do anything around and not be judged freely. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to come by people like that nowadays. So condolences go out to Takeoff and his family. His real name is very hard. It has 2 K's in his first name. You know his first name? It's like
Kakashi Sensei?
No, I don't even want to botch his first name, so we're gonna keep it real with just Takeoff because I couldn't really pronounce it.
You know, it's
Kakash.
it was one of those, man, when you heard about it the next day, because this was right after Halloween.
It was literally the day after, that morning of.
It was I was like, what?
Yeah, crazy.
Like, and you know, for me, it was a little bit different because I'm actually like listening to the album that they just put out.
Right.
I've actually been listening at the gym just nonstop, and I'm listening to it a little bit different now.
Right.
And
Why did it take his death to do that?
and it's well, especially I was already listening to it prior to him passing, and I thought they had a good album. Like I'll be honest with you, I just I listening to it, I thought he shined on it. This was one of the ones that didn't have Offset on it. It was just Quavo and Takeoff on this. So, he got to really shine a little bit on the album. You know what I mean? And
they've always had fire though.
Right. And then so I'm listening to it, and then when he passed, I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, why did this even happen? But before we get to that, let's just kind of get to the nuts and bolts of the situation. Takeoff, one of the Migos is basically passed away early morning shooting in Houston. Basically, it was at 810 Billiards and Bowling Alley out there in Texas. Law enforcement sources, multiple witness tells that a fatal incident went down shortly after 2:30 a.m. when the cops got the call for a man shot at the bowling alley. Takeoff and Quavo were playing a dice game when an altercation broke out. And that's when someone opened fire, shooting Takeoff either in the head or near his head, and he was pronounced dead on the scene.
For one, I'm going to say this real quick because I just was at my boy's birthday party shooting dice in his garage. We were shooting for 20s at first, but I was licking niggas, man. And who wants some next? Licking them, right? We started escalating the shit to hundreds. We was shooting for $100 bills, side bets, hundreds. You know, some cats didn't have us with side bets with the 20. It didn't matter. Shooting dice with your boys is a cool ass time. But on the second note, me personally, I was an outsider. Meaning that, yeah, I know my boy Dub. Yeah, I know him, and I know his boys. AJ, my nigga Mike was there. Pico popped in for a minute. Sorry for name dropping my boys, but you know there was a few cats that I knew. We celebrate my boy's birthday, but at the same time, there was a few niggas that I didn't know that was trying to get in on the action, and now I'm licking these niggas for their money too. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. With me being a big dude in the room, taking niggas' money. There's only one thing that you could think of, right? Is that somebody eventually is going to get mad. Somebody's going to want their shit back one way or another. You can't just walk away from shit after licking niggas for hundreds of dollars.
I have a question for you. If you were a millionaire artist,
yeah,
would you be playing that shit at their house? Put
it's
yourself
fun.
in that position.
I'd be playing it at the house. Yes, I would be playing it at the house.
Why wasn't Takeoff in a casino playing that? That's why I'm confused. Like, nigga, you made it out.
Well, no, but this is a little bit different. We got to get into particulars about this.
Like,
so just to be clear, Takeoff was not engaged in this dice game.
That is correct. He was an innocent bystander in the whole situation.
He was not even shooting the dice. Quavo, from what it sounds like, just from sources, is he was the one that was engaged in the dice game. And to your point, Tony, licked. I will say this.
Being around that.
I will say this.
It's like a lollipop.
I think there's a
licked. Go ahead.
You know, Takeoff passing. He ain't die over a dice game.
He died over an argument.
He died over ego.
Yeah.
There's an ego associated with this, and vanity and ego kind of go hand in hand. Vanity, you know, I want to quote one of the movies. It's not the most perfect movie, but man, it had one of the most powerful scenes. Al Pacino playing the devil, and he talks about it. Vanity is his favorite sin. The over obsession of self-image. Wanting to, and we deal with that more than anything, especially like black people, especially with artists and entertainers and athletes. We don't want to feel like we sold out. We one of the main races where we don't want to have that feeling. We don't want to feel like we left the hood.
Okay.
Leaving people behind.
Fuck.
Like we always have that connection, and so we always want to stay true to what we consider ourselves. But is it to a fault?
Right.
Because you put yourself in a situation. I'm gonna say this straight. I'm gonna just call it what it is. A dice game, and people could say, "Oh, it's just an innocent dice game." No, it ain't an innocent dice game. You know what an innocent dice game is? At the casino.
Right,
yeah.
When you playing the fucking dealer and not somebody else directly.
There's rules that come with that.
Right.
And when you playing in the streets and you playing a dice game between people, maybe people you don't even know, that you ain't affiliated with or you don't know the full background of, you putting yourself at risk. And I will say this, and to my point, what I'm saying is that oftentimes they want to stay true to themselves. That whole idea of keeping it real. You can't move like somebody that ain't got nothing to lose.
Right.
And it's and him, you know, this whole situation.
Nipsey kind of ran like that. Didn't
Right,
he?
like you can't. You have to understand that your status, your wallet, means something. That's why it feels so tragic, because you lost so much. Somebody out there that ain't got no money and they get killed over a dice game, don't nobody give a fuck. Because they didn't have nothing to live for anyway, is how the people are going to perceive that situation. But people die over dice games all the time.
Niggas die every day.
But I'm just saying, like, but that happens. Like, that really does happen in real life.
Which I want to talk about.
And you know that in situations like that, these type of things happen. There's especially in a dice game like this that ain't sanctioned like in a casino. If anybody done played dice on the street, they know. There's a loser and there's a winner.
You don't play dice on the
street. And the one that's
a
loser usually is salty about losing.
Salty as hell, man. They want their money back. They gonna either snatch it from you or beat your ass and get it
There's
back from you.
There's always these type of situations. So when you are of this status,
right,
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. You ain't got no business.
But my thing is he was losing though.
It doesn't even, to me, it doesn't even matter. Whether he was winning or he was losing, you can still be the target. So let's just say, just call it. Let's just play it out.
Okay.
Because Takeoff wasn't gambling. He wasn't even in this.
He was just ready to
He was
go
just
home.
there.
He was ready to go home.
Quavo's the one that's in the game.
Okay.
From what we've been told.
Shooting, getting his ass
So
licked.
let's say he's getting hit, he's losing, so he's upset, and now there's some words exchanged. Let's just say he winning. Now the other side is mad that he winning. It could have gone either way.
It could
You
have.
could have changed, regardless. See that, but that's the point. It doesn't matter whether you winning or losing the game. The fact that you in that situation, you in that environment that you know is not safe for you.
Hold on.
That's you don't know everybody that's around you.
You're right. You're right on that. But what you just said, it could have gone either way. But it didn't go either way. Quavo was getting licked.
It doesn't. That's
Quavo was
irrelevant.
arguing.
It doesn't. It's irrelevant.
It's relevant as hell when you're talking about the dice game.
It
Nigga,
could have
what
been
are
the
you
same way. You could have just reversed it and put
Hell
it with
nah.
the next person.
But it didn't happen that way.
It doesn't matter if it didn't happen.
My nigga, all right, let me tell a story.
It doesn't matter.
Because I am a hood nigga who gambled in the street and saw niggas actually lose in a fucking game and still get their money took right in front of me like nothing is going to happen. I'm telling you, it does matter. Nigga, if you lose, nigga, I'm going to have some type of anger towards you.
But there's always a winner and a loser, though. It doesn't matter if it's Quavo lost or the other person lost. It don't matter.
If Quavo was winning, Quavo wouldn't have been arguing. And he wouldn't have been in that situation at all. And if the other dude would have been pissed off, Quavo would have had a bodyguard step in between. The problem would have been
But
situation.
you adding
but it wasn't
shit into
that
it
way.
that you don't know what you're talking
We
about.
adding shit to it when you saying it's flipping the situation.
No, it's not.
I am saying is if you are
I'm not
losing,
flipping it.
you're pissed.
There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's Quavo. It doesn't mean it's a person of the other party.
It doesn't.
Somebody could get mad. The fact is you was in an environment where
Okay.
you ain't safe.
You're right. Okay.
You ain't safe.
We
and you
flipping the
playing with people
situation.
that you don't know.
I feel you there.
It doesn't matter if Quavo was up or if he was down. It don't matter.
You're adding gas to my fire, is what I am saying. Quavo lost. He was losing. He was angry. That's the story. That's the situation. Regardless if you want to say he could have lost, he didn't lose. He lost, and he was angry.
So what that got to do with the outcome?
He caused an argument. The people who put at blame is the ones who pulled the sticks. But in general, because of him losing and him losing his temper,
You think
sticks
about it
were
small.
drawn. Nah,
you're not
bro.
you're not looking at the big picture.
I'm looking at big
No,
picture.
you're
I'm a
not.
hood
You're
nigga who
looking-
rolls. Oh,
You're
nigga, I'm
looking at Quavo, and that's the part you missing. You missing that entire part.
I'm looking
the
at
fact
Quavo
is they
because
shouldn't even been there.
He should
They
not
shouldn't have been shooting
You're
the
100% correct.
Period.
You're
You should be
100%
assessing-
correct.
You should be assessing the situation. You can't move
Mm-hmm.
like you was when you was back in the ATL before y'all was the Migos.
But you
y'all
said
can't
it.
move like that
you
no more.
said it earlier, nigga. We don't want to lose that cred. We don't want to lose that street cred.
So
That's
is that
why
worth your life?
I went to that nigga's house and was shooting. I'm in his territory at his birthday party with a whole bunch of niggas that I don't know, and they all look like some hood niggas. We all do.
So that's worth your life.
I obviously,
Apparently it
because I
was.
was licking niggas. I was up. Now, if the other nigga that was down got pissed off, then it's the same situation, is what I am saying. Regardless, when you were losing, you got an option to either be pissed the fuck off and argue about it and do something about it, or you can walk the fuck off and go home.
So that's a risk you willing to take.
It was the risk that he was willing to take that night. Honestly, you are 100% correct. He should not have been shooting dice in the fucking alley of a bowling alley. He should not have been. But theoretically, when are you really going to be shooting dice at the house like that? When you see a nigga who's ready to shoot some dice, nigga, you ready? I'm ready. Shit, nigga, I got some money in my pocket, nigga. Let's get down right here, right now. You are 100% correct. He is too high caliber. He has that blue check mark next to this nigga's name to be shooting dice in a bowling alley on a birthday party. But theoretically, it's probably the best time to shoot some fucking dice, bro. At a birthday
You're
party.
talking out both sides of your mouth.
I am, but I'm saying in general.
You're talking about both sides of your
In
mouth.
general, man, niggas need to check on my boy Quavo, man. They need to check on him, make sure he's good, because I'm pretty sure right now that dice game is irrelevant to the consequence of what happened at the end of the night. Simple as that. I am not mad at him for what he did because I'm a hood nigga. I had to take the opportunity to shoot some dice right then and there too.
And that's the same mindset that they had, and now he gone. So what
Factual.
would you be feeling the same way if it was one of your homies that got killed that wasn't shooting dice because you got angry or somebody else got angry
I'd be
and
feeling-
somebody started shooting?
I'd be feeling
That's
hurt.
the point. That's the point, and that's why I feel like you not understanding. You think it's about the dice game itself. When you in a situation like that, you of a certain status, you have made it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be shooting dice with nobody. Now, if you want to do that, that's your thing. You like shooting.
Yeah.
Like that is what it
Yeah.
is. do that in a more controlled environment. You have to do that.
ain't the
You
same.
have to move that. I don't give a fuck if it ain't the
You
same.
said it yourself.
It
You
ain't the
don't
same
wanna
without.
lose
I don't give a damn.
validation.
Okay, you don't want to get HIV. You gonna use the rubber? Or you ain't, motherfucker. Like you got to choose what you want to do. You want to fuck, but you want to. But you do you want to get the HIV? Like okay then. So you gotta make that decision. And if you get the HIV or you get the herp dirt, live to learn with it. So that's what I'm saying. You running a risk of doing something because you trying to. That's
Live
what I'm
that
saying.
life. Live that life.
It's not even living that life. It's basically trying to put on that persona that you still with this shit. You still grounded in the person that you were prior to the fame,
But ain't that what all rappers and artists are?
and that's dumb.
They have an ego or an image to
And that's
perceive
dumb.
to people.
They not. But that's you putting yourself in a bad spot.
Kanye West.
What does that got to do with anything? You're not making no
Kyrie
sense.
Irving.
You proving my point.
I'm proving the point that people have to.
You don't have to do none of that.
So what makes them famous then at the same sentence? What makes Kanye famous?
What are you talking about? The music, his shoes, which none of those things fucking getting him shot.
And once you start to fizzle, what do you do to get back in that limelight?
Was he fizzling? Was Migos fizzling? They just put an album out that's hitting. What are they fizzling?
All right.
You ain't making no sense
You
over
got a
here,
good
bro.
point on that one.
You ain't making no sense.
And I'm making sense in the aspect that when you're in that limelight, bro, you have to obtain a certain image, and that was the image that he
No,
wants.
you don't.
Yes,
Don't
you
nobody
do.
give a fuck about
so
playing
you
no
telling
dice
me-
game.
You telling me right now, nigga, I could be the most dopest rapper with no jewelry, no bling, no bitches on my arm. You telling me anybody's gonna follow me and listen to my music because I ain't got no bitches? I'm just a regular ass, working ass, hard ass nigga just like you. They gonna follow me and listen to my music.
Depending on the
Kendrick
music.
is.
So why aren't we at 1 million subscribers?
Kendrick is. He don't be walking around like that.
Right. NF.
There's plenty
a
of
lot of
artists.
rappers.
I'm
It-
just saying,
it's
bro. You
just-
have to have an
You're not
image.
making no sense.
I am making hella sense.
No,
How
you not.
Bro, you said the
You
same
not.
shit last week.
You're not making no sense,
Bro.
You're not making no sense. You basically
Oh
trying
my
to say
God.
that they. So you basically saying
Kim
that-
Kardashian.
no, let me
Perfect
finish.
example.
Let me finish. You basically saying that they had to play this dice game to uphold their image. You sound dumb as fuck. Is that what you saying?
It's part of the ego, bro.
So that you dumb as fuck. Okay, let's go to the next subject.
Bro, you sound
you sound
stu-
hella
you sound
dumb right
stupid
now.
as shit, bro. I need you to take a second and stop talking and
You're not
listen.
making no sense.
If you talking the whole goddamn time, you ain't listening, bro.
I'm listening to everything you're saying. You're not making sense.
There ain't no celebrity in this world that I know that doesn't try to uphold an image. And let's talk Kyrie Irving for right now because you said it's stupid. I don't make no sense. Kyrie Irving has an image to uphold. And his dumbass slipped and messaged some stupid shit on some Wait, nigga, you gotta listen before you start talking. Okay, nigga? All right. So Kyrie Irving has an image to uphold. And he didn't. And the nigga got suspended for 5 games. Am I right or am I wrong?
What
Why?
image did he have to
Why-
uphold?
Why did Kyrie get suspended, bro? Why did Kyrie get suspended? Tell me why.
Because he didn't apologize.
Oh, so that's an image to uphold. He has an image to uphold, right? He didn't apologize, so he got suspended. Damn it, this nigga, I swear to God. Fuck. Y'all niggas be getting me hot on this fucking show right now. Saying I don't make no goddamn sense.
Yeah, I think you're the only one that think you do.
Every person that is making money has an image to uphold. Whether it be a good image like Kyrie Irving or a negative image like a rapper.
So what I just
What
said.
else can
so
a rapper
What
do?
did I just say? What did I just say?
What else can a rapper
what
do
did
to
I
keep
just
his
say?
image?
You're telling me. I want no.
It was a
No,
dumb
I'll let
mistake.
you say your dumb shit. I'm gonna say this. You feel that they had to play this dice game at 8-10 billions in Houston to uphold their image
As a
of
real
the
nigga,
Migos.
as a
You
real
sound
nigga,
stupid
as
as
a real
fuck.
nigga, hell yeah.
You sound
I
stupid as
fucks
fuck.
with him now because I know them niggas is out there shooting dice, nigga.
And
I
that-
wish
and
I was
that-
out there
and-
shooting dice
and-
with them
and-
niggas
and
too.
now-
That's coming from a real ass nigga,
And now the
not
Migos,
a dumb ass nigga.
and now the Migos is only 2.
I guess
Because of your dumb ass.
I guess.
So basically,
I guess.
Like, wow.
Man, there's some hood shit, nigga. You know about that?
Yes,
You know
I
about
do.
that? Because right now it sounds like you on some soft shit. Like you don't understand
no,
what
I'm
this
saying
nigga's
it's
trying
real.
to say.
You have to stay alive.
So you wouldn't shoot dice, right? Oh no, yeah, you
I wouldn't do that.
Okay,
Not-
that's
not
some
if I made-
soft
not-
ass shit,
not if
nigga.
I- not
It's
if
some
I
hood
made that
shit,
type of-
nigga.
not
That's
if I
how
made
we.
that type
That's
of
how
money.
we act, bro. That's how we are, bro. I can't explain that in a different way. I just told you I was
So
shooting
you
dice
so
with my
you
niggas.
would be willing to shoot dice where your man died. That's basically what you're saying. So
Like
anyone
I knew my man was gonna die. Like I knew I woke up today and you finna die,
so
homie.
anybody that's a friend
Oh,
of
bro,
Wins,
you sound
they basically
stupid.
putting your life at risk because he willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's what you saying.
Absolutely, man.
That's what you saying.
We're going to get past this because I guess I'm saying some dumbass shit when I'm looking at you like you
Absolutely.
saying some dumbass shit. I mean, we just both up here just saying some dumbass shit.
Well, I haven't gotten to say anything.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah, you're right. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Change pace on us right quick. Go ahead.
I kind of feel, I just want to ask you both a question because when I'm looking at this, it seems more like a racist act. I need you guys to keep open-minded on this when I say this. And it's going to be deep and it's going to be long, the question I ask, but just try your hardest to just give the answer because there's been a lot of like people talking about, you know, rappers getting shot lately, you know, obviously this situation that's happened and a lot of reasoning behind it. You know, I'm sorry. I'm not big into hip hop no more, rap. I gave it up because when I was little, I loved it. It was the first music I listened to. Heavy metal and rap. I listened to both. Loved them both. I don't even remember who the group was. The hip hop, the hibbity. That was the first, and I memorized that. I could still memorize that whole line today. So I loved it. When I first heard hip hop, you know, my dad played it for me.
Master Funk.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just like, man, you know, and I always listened to that, rap, everything else growing up. Soon as they got into like, you know, talking about gangs and shooting and this and that, it turned me off. I was like, what the fuck? I hate gangs. I can't stand gangs with a passion. So to me, that music just completely turned me off.
I can understand that.
So to me, when it comes to this, when it comes to hip hop, you look at the origins of hip hop, you know, when it came up after Martin Luther King's death, ironically, you know, it's crazy that in the hoods, and I believe it, and my dad, he comes from the Bronx, and he talked about hip hop, you know, coming from the Bronx, and the fact that, it's such good music, it was such good passion, you couldn't even get it on like record labels, you couldn't even, you know, they had cassette tapes, you know, mixtapes they had to give to people so that way they could listen to it on their boom boxes and things like that. Like that's what they basically, you know, hip hop just has such a culture, and why I say the word racist, and I want people to recognize, and it's funny because the book that we talked about earlier even mentioned something like this, but in terms of like why I call it a racist act is because I see all these things that have happened in the past, you know what I mean? There's so many people that say there's no such thing as systemic racism, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you. There are things that happened in the past. There are institutions that created laws and rules that held us back. That's institutionalized. It happened, so you can't deny that. It's not a myth. So to me, when I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing what happened back in the past, I'm seeing the red lines, the fact that blacks were basically put together in specific areas that we now call the ghetto. It's crazy to me that like that now that you've created this environment, right, to where you know you have impoverished people because in these areas you're gonna have you're going to basically have education that's not the best. You're going to have healthcare that's not the best. And then you're going to end up having gangs, crime, all these things. Why? Because you created red lines. You deliberately put these people in a place because obviously they weren't going to be able to rise above it and get to specific areas. Or how Martin Luther King talked about, you know, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No, we couldn't because of what happened in the past. Slavery all the way up until this point, civil rights. You know what
Hold
I mean?
on, Tony, real quick, time out, because I lost you like 40 seconds ago. I tuned out. Say it again one more time for me.
Okay, so basically talking about, well, it's kind of hard for me to go back. Do you mean talking about, I'm talking
Your
about
point, you
systemic
wanted to bring up racism. Absolutely,
Right.
you were talking about it. Keep
And in
going.
terms of blacks being all generalized in one area, right? And us, obviously, when it comes to hip hop and it comes to the music, it's coming from their lives, their culture, things you're going through.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
But
okay.
these people,
Bring it
you know,
home,
we can
bring it
say we
home.
can say white people, we can say whatever that create. And what I mean by that is I need to be careful how I say that because I don't want white people to look at me and go, "Oh, it wasn't me that did it." No, but generally, when we're talking about these corporations that created red lines, you know, the FHA afterwards, things like that, these were all predominantly owned by who? I don't have to say it, okay? And we didn't have a chance to, you know, that's why systemic racism has kept us down to where it has been. You know what I mean? So like when we're talking about the fact that I don't think this is going to exist, by the way. I don't think 100 years from now we're going to have this problem. Why? Because through generations,
You're losing
black
me.
people,
You're losing me again.
we're not going to have this problem anymore
Okay.
with systemic racism because what's going to happen is we're going to end up each year, you know, you see it with everybody. People that used to live in the hood, they realize they don't want to live in the hood no more.
Okay.
They want to get
Oh,
out.
okay.
They want to get
Brought
out of
it
the hood.
back. Okay.
Right? Because they want to get out of that, what systemic racism created. And they want to get out of that now. So I almost thinking to myself, I think rap music, once that's done, 100 years from now, rap music won't be talking about blacks killing blacks no more. We're not going to see that no more. We're not going to, because that's what happened in this case. Black person shot another black person. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's sad that this happens now, but that's why I call it a racist act almost. And how can we change that? Will rap music ever change is my question. Because maybe 100 years from now, when most of the niggas been wanting to get out of there, get out, and they have generational wealth, generational knowledge, which is probably the most important part, is having generational knowledge, knowing about stocks, knowing about savings, knowing about what's happened to us in our past and how to overcome that. I'm wondering, will the music now change? Because now you're not going to have people basically, because again, when it comes to rap and hip hop and the rhymes, you're talking about your life. Are our lives going to change 100 years from now? Can we help that change by realizing, look, we need to stop supporting music that talks about blacks killing blacks? Like, what do we need to do is my question in order to basically overcome this incident that happened.
Well, to speak to that,
nice,
so if you go, nice. if you're talking about the origin of hip hop, there's definitely been a transition. So if you talk about with people that, that started it in this whole, you can go all the way back to gangster rap, which started with NWA. They were speaking about their environment, their reality. It has morphed, and I don't give a fuck. I listen to rap all the time. I still listen to this day. But it has morphed into a glorification, not an acknowledgement of what we're dealing with. That's what it's kind of morphed into. Now, we take it as entertainment because they done put some motherfucking nice-ass hit-hat drums on that shit and it sound good.
Gotta have a beat.
But that doesn't mean that it's not glorifying what's going on. In this situation that we're dealing with right here, this was senseless. This didn't even need to happen. But because motherfuckers want to play dice with other motherfuckers that they don't know, now they gone. That's just what it comes down to. And there's some people in this room that want to make that decision that think that's a good risk, and there's others in this room that don't think that's a good risk because they'd rather be alive.
Back to what Tony was saying, systemically, we all grew up together. And when we grew up that way, it was just what we knew. I grew up playing dice in the street like that, even with cats you didn't know. Shit, we was flipping $100 bills in the bathroom. I could tell my guy, he did set an NCAA record for most three-pointers in the game for Memphis. Sally.
And I'm just hoping 100 years from now that dice game's going to look different.
It does. It's already transgressing. Like I mentioned, we used to flip dollars, opposite, same. We call it in the bathroom. It's what you grew up doing for entertainment. It's what made you happy. It released endorphins, whether you won or lost. But you understood sometimes the people who you play with, maybe you shouldn't play with them. In this situation, who knows? It was a party that they went to, if I'm correct. Yes or no? Party? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, was this other part of the party that they're shooting dice with, were they a part of the main host? Were they a part of that birthday party? And maybe it's two groups, Migos and whoever this other group is, who are meeting up to go to this party. They're in the same booth, so they think it should be good. Not knowing the background of each other's parties, and that they, we're at a birthday party, we having a good time, we shooting dice. You people's with him, so you people's with me at this time. Let's shoot some dice. Let's have a good time our way. Because let me be real with you, Quavo. I seen him playing a celebrity basketball game. He has a decent shot. Could I see that nigga really bowling and actually bowling like 200 like I be bowling in the leagues? I don't see that nigga bowling 200. I don't even see that nigga bowling at all, to be honest with you, even at a birthday. So that was his kicks and giggles. That's how he has fun. I'm going to go shoot some dice. That's fun to me. So, yes, did somebody lose their lives to a senseless argument over a dice game? Absolutely. And I'm feeling, and I have condolences, and I have just the utmost respect for his family and what they're going through. Quavo, what he's going through. It is horrible. Death is horrible in just general, in any aspect, in any form, no matter how it happens. But he was having fun, and his fun decisions led to someone losing their life. I'm with you there, right? But you don't know the scenarios. We don't know the situations. We don't know what was happening at that time and what was really said. So
you do know this, and this is the part I think that needs to be understood, okay. And the point that needs to get made is that the dice game itself is not the issue. Mm-hmm. It is the fact that you yourself. Mm-hmm. You cannot compare yourself to Quavo. I cannot compare myself to Quavo or Takeoff. We are not them. These guys got way more to lose. So basically, we're looking at it from a cost benefit situation. Mm-hmm. If I'm someone, basically put it to you this way. Let's say there's a bank, mm-hmm. And let's say I've been tipped that this bank is going to go let's say no surveillance is going to be a very slim chance of me getting caught taking $50 million from it, right?
Okay.
I get tipped that, you get tipped that. I make $100 million a year doing that, whatever I'm doing. You make $15 an hour. Are you telling me that the risk is the same?
And that's where I feel like
But I'm asking you the question. Are you telling me that the risk is the same?
in that scenario, no.
Yeah, it's not the same.
But
And
why
that's
would-
the,
why
wait
would-
a minute. Let me finish my
But why would
point. Let
Quavo
me-
be shooting dice with someone who's making $15
That's-
an hour?
That is the question, the $1 million question.
It goes-
Why are you shooting dice when you got all this money in the bank because you trying to put on that you still with it?
The Incredibles.
That you still
The Incredibles.
You still the same dude you was prior to you making the money.
The Incredibles.
And that right there that right there has been the biggest, is one of the biggest detriments.
Okay.
And why people get hurt. And it could be why they get hurt. It could be why they get, in this case, a loss of life. It could be tons of different scenarios that could play out. It's that idea right there. Is you trying to uphold to something. You trying to make it seem like you still with it. Even though you got all these millions. Even though you got all this fame.
The Incredibles
And that right
situation
there
could
is
still
a
apply.
dumb, that is a stupid way to look at shit.
Incredible
That's a stupid way to look
situation
at
could
shit.
still apply, bro.
You have to move just like your wallet moved.
Absolutely.
You cannot move. Me, if I became a billionaire right now, I can't move the same way I'm moving right now.
So if I'm super, like Quavo, I'm super, and whoever he was shooting dice with is super, aren't we the same? Aren't we just?
I don't even understand what you just said.
Because your reference before you started ranting was I was making $15 an hour and you're a millionaire. But if I'm not making $15 an hour and I'm a millionaire and you're a millionaire and we say let's have some fun and shoot some dice, nigga, we the same.
But
we
you're
normal
adding-
at that
you're-
point.
But you're adding in context.
You're
You don't
adding
know-
in content
you
because
don't
you're saying the
know-
dude was making only 15. I'm saying they went to a high celebrity party. They were at a party with somebody famous.
Quavo's famous, right? I
Quavo's
don't know,
famous. So I'm assuming everybody else at this
I'ma
party
bet you
is
this.
famous.
I'm gonna bet you this. Do you know the other people?
No.
Then they ain't famous. What
But
the fuck you
they
talking
with
about?
the shit, bro.
They not
They're
famous.
obviously with the
That's
shit.
the point. That's the whole
Okay.
point.
But
You
here's-
know who Quavo is.
But
You
here's
know
my
who they are.
here's my point though. Is
There
like
ain't no winning.
my point is that it's not even it's beyond that. It's the culture, the music, you know what I mean. I'm like that needs to change.
And I feel what you're
That-
saying, Tony. What you
Well, that's a
said,
bigger
what
picture.
you said is
you're
definitely
trying to change the
huge.
entire dynamic.
Yeah.
Why that even has to happen in the first place.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
That goes unsaid, but you're not gonna change that. But what you can do is move different. You're gonna have to adapt.
Okay.
You have to adapt. And if you making that type of money and you got that type of fame, you got that type of status, I think this speaks to, and I don't want to poke this just at Quavo. This goes for anybody listening that's in that type of situation. If you could be somebody that just passed the bar and now you got a promising lawyer career ahead of you. This could be anybody. Where you got something that is going good for you. Why would you risk putting yourself in a position where that could be taken from you over something minuscule as that?
Shit, we gotta ask Joe Proctor that from fucking
That's
Ghost,
the point I'm saying.
Power.
The cost
Proctor?
benefit is not adding up.
My thing that what Winton might be saying though is like when you're going to an event like this, maybe it's not on your mind that there's gonna be somebody ghetto that's gonna fucking do some shit.
It don't
like that
even
and
have
shoot.
to be
You know
ghetto.
what I mean?
That's the point.
He
it
didn't
doesn't
think there
have to be
was.
that. It's unpredictable. You don't know, but we all know. I played dice. You played dice. We understand. There's a winner and there's a loser.
Goddamn right.
And this is the thing when it comes to, in this situation, this comes down all the time, and we understand this more than anything, is that all too often, taking the L gets associated with weakness, and that ain't true. Take your L and go home. That don't mean you weak. That just mean you lost.
I think
and a winner don't mean you superior. That just mean you won in that moment.
But
Shit,
I
I be
think,
feeling
but I
superior.
think, yeah, but
That's
I
what
think,
I'm saying.
I think Takeoff though when he went wasn't thinking, you know what I mean? He was gonna die.
Right.
You know
no,
what I mean?
no one does, right?
He does,
But no one thinks so.
No
right.
one does.
But I don't think even if you're moving smart, and I get what you're saying, like you should be moving smarter. The party they went to, you know what I mean? It's more upscale. It shouldn't even go like that. Like that's weird that somebody was there with a gun to shoot somebody, get mad like that. You're famous too, nigga. We both make money. We're both famous. What the fuck? Like you know what I mean? And he just died from that nigga. You know that's what's crazy.
Yeah,
So-
but that's the thing though. The dice game is just a catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
But we understand the energy that come with a dice game. We just dealt with that at the
So
spot
you're just
that I
saying they
worked
shouldn't
at.
be playing dice at all.
To me, I don't think you should be putting yourself in a
Okay.
position. Like, I'll put it to you this way. I put it to you like this.
Just
Let's
say
say it's the Migos is actually playing dice with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. This is family.
Right. You ain't gonna get that excited. It's not that
It's
exciting.
not going to get to that point.
Right.
It's not going to escalate to the point where I got to pull the
But they
hammer
didn't,
out.
they didn't know them though. Is
But
that
that's
what it
the
is?
point.
Okay.
You playing a game with people you don't know,
Which is
and what
more
I'm saying
thrilling.
is, and you don't know someone's temperament. You don't know how well they gonna take a loss versus somebody else taking a loss. You don't know how well that you gonna take the W better than somebody else gonna take it. You don't know. There's too many unknowns. Why would you put yourself in a position like that when you already at a certain status? Just to say that you real? Dave Chappelle did a perfect bit on the Dave Chappelle show about keeping it real. When keeping it real go
Goes
wrong. You doing all that just to keep it real? Kevin Gates talk about that shit. He
I
said,
think-
"Oh, I'm gonna take a penitentiary chance just so a motherfucker can call me real." That
Well-
sounds stupid as fuck.
well, I think
but
people-
anybody that move like that, I'm crazy for saying that they sound stupid as fuck. No, you stupid as fuck.
But
period.
people get, if you don't keep it real though, people scrutinize you for it. Oh, he ain't the
Facts.
same. He
He
ain't
ain't-
spitting the same
Hey,
lyrics.
you
He
living?
ain't doing that.
You living though?
Oh, you Hollywood now,
living,
huh?
but you
You
losing
don't know
money.
niggas from the block now, huh? When you was out here getting money just like me, you brand new around here now, huh?
Yeah, but now you're losing money.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I don't know, man. I
money
hear
you
what you.
losing?
I hear what you trying to say, man. But
Maybe 50 mil, maybe 20 mil. I don't know the amount, but
certain
What you
morals
losing?
mean a lot, man.
They numbers going up with that album. I bet you like this. I put it to you like this. The fact that them being this is the point I was trying to get across the entire time. Whether they was in this dice game or not, added no money to their pockets. Added no more clout to their
yeah,
relevance.
Have
yeah,
fun.
that's true. That's true.
I mean, they have
Nothing.
fun.
I don't think not playing the game would have took away from their clout.
That's my
You know
point.
what I mean? Yeah, I don't
Cost
think- yeah.
benefit. Cost benefit outweigh.
Like no one's gonna go be like, man, we was playing dice and these niggas didn't even jump in, bro. They could have been doing
who
anything.
gives a
else.
fuck?
Or you can be like, man, that nigga party was lit as fuck, man. We was outside shooting dice. I did get licked for a couple hundred, man, but it was all good, man. The party was jumping, man.
But you wouldn't have
Cool
made more
outside.
money.
Ain't got no more
You
streams.
wouldn't.
So, yeah.
I mean, but,
You wouldn't have made
No
money.
more fucking streams.
yeah,
you
like
just
I
talking.
mentioned, like I mentioned.
You just talking.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out later, I guess, right? In general, man, I want to thank you guys so very much for tuning in to another fabulous episode of About the Night, episode 26. You rock it with the crew. Don't forget my guy back on the ones and twos over there, Mr. Tony _ no, then you know what? Fuck all that. Mr. Rob Coates over here, Winton. Let's not forget about our guy, War Ready, man. Once again, our thoughts are with you, man. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you for coming and staying with us to the end. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, sign up for the notifications. Do it all, man.